Good morning, all of you. How is life? Yesterday, I couldn't make it because I was not able to wake up. I woke up at 8:22, 7:22. So it was literally impossible to reach here on time. And yesterday, unfortunately, or fortunately, I would say, I started for GS classes, which was held from 10:30 at 9 o'clock. My driver came and he returned. So I had to drive. 9 o'clock से मैं गाड़ी चला रहा था, बट 1.5 घंटा लगा मुझे यहाँ पहुंचने. बहुत गंदा ट्रैफिक था कल, और आज भी ट्रैफिक बहुत अच्छा नहीं है. एनीवेज, so we were discussing anxiety disorders, isn't it? Okay. So moving ahead with panic disorders. Panic disorder. Panic disorder represents acute variety of anxiety disorder. Panic disorder represents acute variety of anxiety disorder in which there is sudden outburst of enormous anxiety not associated with any specific situation. There is sudden outburst of enormous anxiety not associated with any specific situation. Such outbursts are known as panic attacks. Such outbursts are known as panic attacks. Mostly, the panic attacks occur during relaxation. Mostly, panic attacks occur during relaxation or sleep. Mostly, panic attacks occur during relaxation or sleep. But when they occur in marketplaces, or public places, they may lead to development of agoraphobia. They may lead to development of agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is fear of open place. ठीक है? Therefore, panic disorder is clinically correlated with agoraphobia. Therefore, panic disorder is clinically correlated with agoraphobia. So the person with panic disorder is very likely to develop agoraphobia. And therefore, they will be afraid to visit public place or marketplace thinking that I will have another attack. Now, symptoms. Pounding heart. Pounding heart. Heavy sweating. Pounding heart, heavy sweating, chest pain. Severe headache. Loss of control. breathlessness, and depersonalization. Depersonalization means it's not happening to me. Disowning one's own body. ये मेरा शरीर हो ही नहीं सकता, ये मेरे कंट्रोल में नहीं है. Depersonalization. Panic attacks may be fatal, leading to heart attack. Panic attacks may be fatal, leading to heart attack. Please come. तो हो सकता है आदमी निकल ले, ठीक है, लीडिंग टू हार्ट अटैक, ठीक है. एंड देयर इज नो सब्सटेंशियल कॉज फॉर द पैनिक. किस लिए पैनिक कर रहे हैं कोई पता नहीं, और कभी भी हो सकता है, नॉट एसोसिएटेड विद एनी स्पेसिफिक सिचुएशन, ठीक है. सो नाउ लेट अस सी द एटियोलॉजी, कॉजेस. Genetic cause was found by Togersen. Togersen is not my relative. ठीक है, Togersen. Togersen found that there is 50% concordance rate. 50% concordance rate in monozygotic twins. I hope you understand what are monozygotic twins. So if one twin has panic disorder, the other is likely to have panic disorder by 50%. 50% chances are there. So 50% concordance rate in monozygotic twins. PET scan reveals, PET scan means positron emission tomography. ये ब्रेन का स्कैन होता है. Positron emission tomography reveals that brainstem, I'm writing here, that is LC, locus coeruleus. The brainstem LC, that is locus coeruleus, raises false alarm. The brainstem is your primitive brain that is responsible for your automatic nervous system. So this autonomous nervous system raises false alarm. एक खतरे की घंटी बजा देता है, जिसके चलते पैनिक अटैक हो जाता है. ठीक है, खतरे की घंटी तब बजनी चाहिए जब खतरा हो. ऑटोमेटिक रिएक्शन, जैसे सांप देखा अचानक, सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऑटोमेटिकली फियर विल बी क्रिएटेड. ठीक है. So autonomous nervous system is that part of the brain that alarms you against external threats and dangers. And this is something that we have inherited from our ancestors. This is the primitive brain. The evolved brain is known as cortex. It is responsible for thinking. So when you think and then feel fear, for example, right now, autonomous nervous system is raising false alarm in people who are in Ukraine, because Ukraine is under attack. But yesterday I was feeling fear because of the declining share markets, and obviously whatever shares I possess, मैं देख रहा था कि उसका वैल्यू कितना डिक्लाइन किया है. ठीक है. So after a lot of thinking I was feeling fear, but people in Ukraine are feeling immediate fear. So one is because of cortex. My fear was because of cortex and mental processing. People of Ukraine are feeling fear because of locus coeruleus, right? That is, the brainstem raising alarm. Now, raising alarm is good, but raising false alarm is problem. So PET scan reveal that LC raises false alarm during panic attacks. It may also be caused due to malfunctioning of GABA. So GABA is relaxant. It produces, GABA is produced by limbic system. It is a relaxant. It is a hormone that relaxes your nervous system. So should there be malfunctioning of GABA, that can also be responsible for panic attack. So these are the biological causes. Now coming to psychological cause. Psychological cause are as follows. Psychoanalytical cause. If you remember Sigmund Freud, he spoke about 3 types of anxiety that ego undergoes. One was reality anxiety, which is healthy. Other 2 were unhealthy. What were those other 2? Neurotic anxiety and morality anxiety. भूल गए होंगे, कोई बात नहीं. Neurotic anxiety is the fear of ego that it might reveal the animal inside in public. Neurotic anxiety is the fear or constant threat of ego that it might expose the id in public. Okay, so I should not reveal what I wish to conceal. This is called neurotic anxiety. So there is an animal inside all of us, and we try to conceal that animal from being public. Now, if there is a constant threat that I might reveal what I wish to conceal, it may lead to panic attack. Okay. So the neurotic anxiety, that one should not reveal what one wants to conceal, may lead to development of agoraphobia, that is being in public place. ठीक है. Neo-Freudians believe that excessive separation anxiety during childhood, may increase the dependency needs of the child so much, that the child may lose control over oneself. The child may lose control over himself or herself. Leading to panic attacks. Second psychological cause is the cognitive cause. This is the most plausible cause. This is the most valid reason or common reason for panic attack. What is coming? According to cognitivists, panic attacks result due to catastrophization of ordinary bodily sensations. Panic attack occurs because of catastrophization of ordinary bodily sensations. Ordinary bodily sensation will be misinterpreted. ठीक है? This is because of faulty mental processing. This is because of faulty mental processing. अभी देखो क्या होता है. Say the patient is having stomach ache, पेट में दर्द. ठीक है, पेट में दर्द हुआ. He rubs his stomach. He rubs his stomach and temporarily he has relief. For some time he has relief. Again the ache begins. So, assumption that I have ulcer in my stomach. That is why it is aching. So, without any diagnosis, without any test, the patient has assumed that I have got ulcer in my stomach. Now he takes medicine. And with medicine, he gets temporary relief, and again the pain begins. So, his perception is now the ulcer has converted into tumor. देखो कैसे कैटास्ट्रोफाइज कर रहा है. ठीक है. And then again he takes medicine and the pain is subsided, but again it starts paining. Tumor exploded. And now the toxic compounds are floating in my body. Whole blood is contaminated. Panic attack. अब तो मैं गया. ठीक है. तो जिन लोगों का फॉल्टी परसेप्शन होता है, दे ट्राई टू मैग्नीफाई थिंग्स, माइनर चीज को बहुत बड़ा करके देखना, उनको पैनिक अटैक का चांस होता है. मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा, लेकिन मेरे एक दोस्त हैं, इसी यहीं पे काम करते हैं, मेरे छोटे भाई जैसा. उनको ये प्रॉब्लम है, कैटास्ट्रोफाइज कर देते हैं हर चीज. कुछ हुआ नहीं. नहीं, साइकोसोमैटिक डिसऑर्डर तो दोज डिसऑर्डर्स व्हिच हैव अ साइकोलॉजिकल एज वेल एज बायोलॉजिकल कॉज. मैग्निफाइड बहुत सारे होते हैं. एक होता है हाइपोकॉन्ड्रियल डिल्यूजन, द डिल्यूजन दैट आई हैव अ फेटल डिजीज, एंड दीज पेशेंट्स आर इम्पॉसिबल टू बी कन्विंस्ड. आप इनको समझा नहीं सकते कि तुम्हारी कोई बीमारी नहीं है. ठीक है. तो अच्छा, मुझे नहीं पता था कि ये प्रॉब्लम है, मैं और उकसा देता था. एक दिन कहा कि सर यहां दर्द हो रहा है. वहां तो किडनी होता है, तुम्हें क्यों दर्द हो रहा है? हम लोग बहुत सारे कारण हो सकते हैं, उसमें पत्थर भी हो सकता है, क्या हो सकता है कि किडनी खत्म हो रहा है, तुम्हारा फेलियर की तरफ बढ़ रहा है. ओ माय गॉड, अगले दिन पूरा चेकअप, मतलब केएफटी वगैरह करा के बंदा तैयार. अरे पागल. मैंने मजाक किया था यार. So this is the most plausible cause of panic attack. And now treatment. Drug therapy, anti-anxiety drug. However, the most effective therapy is CBT for panic attack or panic disorder. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, what is done in this therapy? The patient is given interceptive exposure. Interceptive exposure to bodily or somatic cues. The patient is given interceptive exposure to bodily and somatic cues so that the patient may distinguish between harmless and dangerous sensations. The patient may distinguish between harmless and dangerous sensations. So patient is asked to imagine or feel his heartbeat, ठीक है, feel his belly, feel his kidney area, all the vital organs जहां जहां होते हैं, the patient is asked to imagine and feel it and try to sense it, so that when there is a trouble and there is a real pain, they can distinguish the real pain from normal sensations of the body. इसको कहते हैं interceptive exposure. Along with this, Jacobson progressive relaxation method, Jacobson progressive relaxation method is trained so that the patient can relax during panic attacks. So that the patient can relax during panic attack. The success rate of CBT is around 80 to 90%. The success rate of cognitive behavioral therapy is 80 to 90%. Quite successful. Okay, so this is panic attack. Now, the last disorder in anxiety group is PTSD, which I will be taking after schizophrenia. Okay, so now let's begin with mood disorder. Just give me a minute. Mood disorders are defined as experiencing extreme state of mood. Mood disorders are defined as experiencing extreme state of mood unsubstantiated by a cause. Unsubstantiated by a cause. So without any cause, there is extreme fluctuation of mood, extreme states of mood. This is mood disorder. According to a recent estimation, it is ranked as number 4th in terms of disease burden in the world. It is ranked number 4th in terms of disease burden in the world. So what is disease burden? It is the cost of the disease. It includes cost of treatment plus number of days missed at work. So when you calculate both of them, the disease burden is very high. It is ranked 4 amongst all the other diseases. Okay? And depression is known as common cold of psychopathology. Okay? Depression is known as common cold of psychopathology. According to Murray, depression should become the largest disorder in the world by 2020. Now, Murray made this prediction way back, and it is true. Depression is the largest disorder in the world. Okay. Now, mood disorders are characterized by extreme state of mood that varies between dysphoria and euphoria. Dysphoria is extreme sadness. Dysphoria is extreme sadness. Depression. And euphoria is extreme happiness and mood elatedness. It is known as mania. There are two categories of mood disorder. There are two categories of mood disorder. Unipolar and bipolar. There are two categories of mood disorder, unipolar and bipolar. Unipolar disorder is also known as depression. Unipolar disorder is also known as depression, in which the patient moves towards dysphoric episodes, that is depressive episode, for certain length of time, and then coming back to normal. Unipolar disorder is known as depression, in which the person moves from the normal towards dysphoric episode for certain length of time and then comes back to normal. And this cycle continues. And this one is repeated. वो कुछ दिन नॉर्मल रहेगा, फिर डिप्रेशन में जाएगा, फिर वापस नॉर्मल रहेगा, फिर डिप्रेशन में जाएगा. दिस इज यूनिपोलर. एक ही पोल में शिफ्ट हो रहा है. Bipolar, on the other hand, is characterized by movement towards dysphoric episode, and then getting back normal, movement towards dysphoric episode, that is depressive episode, and then getting back normal, followed by shifting towards euphoria, that is mania. Shifting towards euphoria, that is mania, and again coming back to normal. In other words, in bipolar disorder, depression is alternated by mania. In bipolar disorder, depression is alternated by mania. Now let's come to unipolar disorder. Let us see unipolar disorder. What are the symptoms? Symptom number 1. Dysphoric mood diasporic mood, that is sadness, and anhedonia. Anhedonia means lack of pleasure seeking tendency, lack of interest in any activity. An मतलब non, ठीक है? Hedonism means pleasure seeking. So anhedonia is getting disinterested even in the interesting activities. ठीक है? Loss of appetite, भूख ना लगना. Significant weight loss. Significant weight loss. Dark circles below the eyes. Dark circles below the eyes. Wrinkles on the forehead. जो व्यक्ति चिंता करेगा उसको तो रिंकल होगा ही फोरहेड में. Wrinkles on the forehead. Reduced motor activities. चलना फिरना इधर उधर जाना कम हो जाएगा. Reduced motor activity. Insomnia or hypersomnia. Insomnia or hypersomnia. Poor concentration and forgetfulness. Poor concentration and forgetfulness. Feeling of guilt and self-reproach. Feeling of guilt and self-reproach. Self-reproach means self-criticism. And therefore tendency to commit suicide. And therefore the tendency to commit suicide. Suicide करने की इच्छा. Now, incidence of depression is 21% in females, while 13% in males. तो लड़कों को डिप्रेशन कम होता है, लड़कियों में ज्यादा होता है. और वो क्यों होता है? A Japanese feminine psychologist has explained. I will discuss it soon.
So could you repeat this?
Yeah. Somebody wants to say something?
Could you repeat the numbers you said about the incident?
Sorry? No one? Okay. So depression is more common in women as compared to men. Okay. Now, types of unipolar disorder or types of depression. Dysthymia. Dysthymia. Let me change the page. क्या हो जाता है पेज को? Dysthymia, adjustment disorder, with depressed mood, and MDD, that is major depressive disorder. Dysthymia, adjustment disorder with depressed mood, and MDD, that is major depressive disorder. So let us see dysthymia. the criteria for diagnosis of dysthymia is that the client must have been bothered with depressed mood for last 2 years. The client must have been bothered with depressed mood for last 2 years for most of the days. The client must have been bothered with depressed mood for past 2 years for most of the days, accompanied by at least 2 more symptoms of depression. Accompanied by at least 2 more symptoms of depression. तो जितने symptoms आपने लिखे, like lack of appetite, insomnia, hypersomnia, कुछ भी 2 और symptoms होने चाहिए. पिछले 2 सालों में अधिकतर दिन ये आदमी दुखी रहा हो, तभी जाके आप डायस्थीमिया डायग्नोस करेंगे, उससे पहले नहीं करेंगे. तो अभी कुछ दिनों से दुखी है, 1 हफ्ते से दुखी है, तो डिप्रेशन उसको डायग्नोस नहीं किया जाएगा. हालांकि डॉक्टर्स कर देंगे, क्यों? क्योंकि उनको पैसा चाहिए. So now you are student of psychology, you understand. It should have been bothering you for past 2 years. Only then it is dysthymia. Okay? And apart from depressed mood, there should be at least 2 more symptoms which we have enlisted in the symptoms of depression. Okay? Second one, adjustment disorder with depressed mood. It is diagnosed when the patient faces depression due to an identifiable problem, due to an identifiable stressor within past 3 months in one's life. Identifiable stressor within past 3 months in one's life. Identifiable stressor can be breakup. Very common, breakup. Okay? Within past 3 months in one's life, and continuation of depression for further 6 months, and continuation of the depression for further 6 months, even when the stressor is gone, and continuation of the depression for further 6 months, even when the stressor or the problem is gone. तो भाई प्रॉब्लम था पिछले 3 महीने के दरमियान, समझ में आता है डिप्रेशन हो गया, लेकिन जब प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया तो भी 6 महीना तक डिस्टर्ब रहा. सपोज देयर वाज अ ब्रेकअप एंड आफ्टर ब्रेकअप देयर वाज रीयूनियन, देन आल्सो 6 months डिप्रेशन. दिस इज एडजस्टमेंट डिसऑर्डर विद depressed mood. Now coming to major depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder. The person must have one or more depressive episode. The person must have one or more depressive episode without any mania. The person must have one or more depressive episode without any mania. The depressive episode should last for 2 weeks. The depressive episodes should last for 2 weeks, accompanied with 1 or 2 symptoms of depression. Accompanied by 1 or 2 symptoms of depression including recurrent thoughts of committing suicide, including reoccurring thoughts or recurrent thoughts of committing suicide. Okay, this is major depressive disorder. So these are the three types of mood disorders. Now coming to bipolar disorder. These were types of unipolar, now bipolar disorders. Bipolar disorders are characterized by periods of severe depression alternating with manic episode. Bipolar disorders are characterized by periods of severe disorder alternating with manic episodes.
Sir, please repeat this point.
Bipolar disorders are characterized by periods of severe depression alternating with manic episodes. ठीक है? During mania, the person feels unusually elated. Develops inflated sense of self-esteem. Unusually elated, develops inflated sense of self-esteem. Becomes extra expressive. Becomes extra expressive. They begin to believe that they are born with unmatched abilities. They begin to believe that they are superhumans, they are born with unmatched abilities. They show unwarranted optimism. They show unwarranted optimism and also take unnecessary risk. They show unwarranted optimism and also take unnecessary risk. ठीक है? Have you seen Three Idiot? Now there was one character, Raju. So after partying with the friends, he went to the, who was he? The principal. हाँ, वायरस के घर के बाहर जाके यूरिनेट करके भाग गया. ठीक है, अननेसेसरी रिस्क, मैनिक एपिसोड. ठीक है. So they may make huge promises to others. They may make huge promises to others and give away all that they have. तो अपने गले का चेन निकाल के दे दिया, अपना प्रॉपर्टी, जमीन जायदाद लिख के दे दिया, अपने बेटे को उठा के दे दिया किसी को. ठीक है. Give away all that they have. ठीक है. And as the mania diminishes, they are left dealing with the loss. And as mania diminishes, they are left dealing with the loss. Which gives them a valid reason to enter depression. Which gives them a genuine reason to enter depression. In between mania and depression, the patient may experience a long period of normal functioning. In between mania and depression, the patient may experience a long period of normal functioning. So very few patients directly move between depression and mania. तो बीच में एक स्टेशन आता है नॉर्मल, उसमें कुछ दिन रुकते हैं ज्यादातर लोग. Very few people directly move between the poles, that is depression and mania. The incidence of bipolar disorder is 1.6% in the population. The incidence of bipolar disorder is 1.6% in the population and is equally divided between males and females. The incidence is 1.6% in the population and is equally divided between males and females. Remember, unipolar is mostly in women, bipolar equally in both men and women.
Hysteria is also a kind of mania.
No. You can say that symptoms of hysteria are showed up in mania, but hysteria is different, mania is different. Mania is extreme happiness. Okay? And this happiness may not be associated with attention-seeking tendency or nudity. So, इसमें expansiveness होता है. Now, types of bipolar disorder. Types. Cyclothymia. एक एडवर्टीजमेंट भी आता है ना जिसमें मैनिया मैनिया करके कुछ दिखाता है. अरे कोई चिप्स का ऐड आता है जिसमें खाते ही उछलने लगता है आदमी. हाँ, बिंगो. ठीक है, वो खाके इतना खुश हो जाता है, कपड़ों पे फाड़ने लगता है, एकदम गुलाटी मारना शुरू कर देता है. ठीक है, ओके. Types of bipolar disorder. First is cyclothymia. Second is bipolar 1. One Roman में लिखेंगे. Third is bipolar 2. And fourth is substance abuse mood disorder. Cyclothymia, bipolar 1, bipolar 2 and substance abuse mood disorder. ठीक है. So what is cyclothymia? Cyclo मतलब alternating. At present or during past 2 years, the patient should have experienced episodes resembling dysthymia. The patient must have experienced episodes resembling dysthymia, that is depression, along with one or more periods of hypomania. Hypomania means low intensity mania. अंडरलाइन द वर्ड हाइपो, लो इंटेंसिटी मैनिया, ठीक है। यही डिफर करेगा, यही एक्सप्लेन करेगा द डिफरेंस बिटवीन बाइपोलर 1, साइक्लोथीमिया, बाइपोलर 2, ठीक है। नाउ सी बाइपोलर 1,
Sir, please repeat the psychothymia once.
cyclothymia, the patient at present or during past 2 years must have experienced episodes similar to dysthymia with one or more hypomania, with one or more period of hypomania, that is less intense mania, ठीक है। Now bipolar 1, the patient experiences major depressive episodes. The patient experiences major depressive episodes with one or more mania, with one or more periods of mania. So what is the difference with cyclothymia? In cyclothymia, there was hypomania. In bipolar 1, there is just mania. That means normal mania, not low intensity mania. And in cyclothymia, there was light depression, like dysthymia. But here you have major depressive episode with one or more mania. आप डिफरेंस समझ पा रहे हैं? इसलिए मैंने आपको हाइपो अंडरलाइन करवाया था। Bipolar 2, the patient must have experienced major depression with one or more hypermania, that means extreme mania. The patient must have experienced major depression with one or more hypermania. ठीक है। And then coming to substance abuse mood disorder. Here the depression may be caused due to effect of certain drugs. Here the depression may be caused due to effect of certain drugs. The drugs administered for the treatment of depression that is given or administered for treatment of depression, which when stopped may lead to withdrawal symptoms causing depression. May lead to withdrawal symptoms causing depression. You know what is the best treatment for depression? Electroconvulsive shock. लेकिन बहुत सारा परमिशन लेना पड़ता है उसके लिए। पहले होता था, अब मना है। ये ह्यूमन राइट वाले फालतू में परेशान होते हैं। होता क्या इलेक्ट्रोकन्वल्सिव शॉक से कि आपका वो मेमोरी ट्रेस ही हटा दिया जाता है, इरेज कर दिया जाता है। तो ना रहेगा बैंड, ना बजेगा बाजा। आपको बुरी यादें रहेंगी नहीं, अच्छी यादें भी मिट जाएंगी, कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन बुरी यादें जो आपको ट्रबल कर रही है वो मिट जाएंगी। इलेक्ट्रोकन्वल्सिव थॉट, यू विल नॉट रिमेंबर एनीथिंग, ठीक है। द थिंग दैट इज कमिंग बैक टू यू अगेन एंड अगेन एंड ट्रबलिंग यू, मेमोरी ट्रेस विल बी ब्रोकन थ्रू ईसीएस, ठीक है। एनीवेज ट्रीटमेंट में आएंगे, देखेंगे। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एटियोलॉजी। The etiology is very interesting. Biological cause, reduced level of two chemical messengers in the brain. Reduced level levels of two chemical messengers in the brain, serotonin and norepinephrine. Reduced levels of two chemical messengers in the brain, namely serotonin and norepinephrine. ठीक है? Norepinephrine is a mood relator. Serotonin is a mood stabilizer, norepinephrine is a mood elator. इनका अगर कमी हो जाए ब्रेन में तो डिप्रेशन हो सकता है. Another biological cause is brain metabolism. Brain metabolism. PET scans have revealed that there is a difference in the way the brain metabolizes. There is a difference in the way the brain metabolizes the cerebral glucose. There is difference in the way the brain metabolizes cerebral glucose during depression and mania. So during mania, the brain metabolism rate becomes faster. During mania, the brain metabolism rate becomes faster, while during depression, it gets slow. So if you are not metabolizing the glucose, the brain will not get energy and therefore depression. While when there is fast consumption of cerebral glucose, it may lead to mood elation and mania. Genetic cause. Gersol found that there is 67% concordance rate between identical twins. 67%. There is 67% concordance rate between identical twins, while only 20% between fraternal twins. Fraternal twins are dizygotic twins who are born out of two separate zygotes, whose genetic similarity is less as compared to monozygotic twins. Identical twins are monozygotic twins. So concordance rate of mood disorder is 67% between identical twins who share more common genetic material. But fraternal twins share lesser genetic similarity and therefore concordance rate is also less, that is only 20%. Now coming to a classic study done over family by Egeland et al. Now, Egeland studied the Amish community of Pennsylvania. USA. Before you write, you understand why Amish community were made preferred subjects. Amish community are a small community who live in Pennsylvania, America. This community shifted from Europe. So 30 couples from Europe who belonged to a community called Amish shifted to Pennsylvania, and they started living within their community in a separate society. Today, their population, or when the study was conducted, these 30 couples have multiplied to 15,000 members. Amish do not marry outside their community. That means all marriages are between the family. So 30 couples से 15,000 लोग बने. They have maintained their complete genealogical record in the churches where they visit. So the church of Amish community have maintained the complete genealogical record. इसका बाप कौन था, इसका दादा कौन था, इसका परदादा कौन था, सबका record maintained है. Moreover, use of drug is prohibited in this community. So even substance abuse mood disorder is not possible in this community. So this community was taken as ideal community for study to find whether bipolar disorder runs in the family. Okay, Eastland. So you can write now. The Amish community living in Pennsylvania were around 15,000 members, who originated from 30 couples, who migrated from Europe. This community has remained genetically isolated. And maintained, and the churches have maintained, and their churches have maintained a complete genealogical record. And the churches have maintained a complete genealogical record. Use of alcohol and drugs is prohibited in this community. Use of alcohol and drugs is prohibited in this community. Use of alcohol and drugs is prohibited in this community. It was found that there is a tendency of bipolar disorder to run in the family, in the same family. It was found that there is a tendency of bipolar disorder to run in the same family. However, the researcher could not identify the precise bipolar gene. But it is for sure that it is running in the family. And that's the reason that in arranged marriage setup, most of the elderly people try to find out if there has been any case of mental disorder in the family. आपको नहीं पता होगा, you ask your parents, they will tell you कि जब शादी ब्याह का रिश्ता का बात करते हैं तो सबसे पहले आस पड़ोस इधर उधर से पता लगाते हैं कि कहीं खानदान में किसी को तो नहीं था प्रॉब्लम, क्योंकि वो आगे आ सकता है. ठीक है, तो ये पता लगाते हैं. नाउ ज्योग्राफिकल कॉज. ये सेकंड होगा, थर्ड. SAD, seasonal affective disorder. नाम भी सैड है. Seasonal affective disorder. Now, the countries which are located north of Arctic Circle, they receive 3 months of continuous sunshine and 3 months of continuous darkness. and again 3 months of continuous sunshine and 3 months of continuous darkness because of the inclined rays of sun and the tilted axis of earth. तो आर्कटिक सर्कल के नॉर्थ के जितने भी कंट्रीज हैं लाइक नॉर्वे, स्वीडन, फिनलैंड, डेनमार्क, यहां क्या होता है, साल में 6 महीना मतलब कंप्लीट रात और 6 महीना कंप्लीट दिन होता है. सो जस्ट इमेजिन इफ देयर इज नो सनराइज, there is complete night and darkness, then what will happen to the brain? Now there is a hormone called melatonin. ठीक है? So as the sun sets, the brain releases a hormone called melatonin. This melatonin is responsible for our sleepiness. So immediately after the sunset, we start feeling drowsy. ठीक है? हम लोग को नींद आनी शुरू हो जाती है सनसेट के साथ ही. And as the melatonin levels increase in the brain, we finally succumb to sleep. रात को 10-11 बजते बजते इतना मेलेटोनिन सर में भर जाता है कि हम लोग सो जाते हैं. Now, with sunrise, the melatonin starts breaking down. And as the melatonin starts breaking down, it triggers the wakefulness. The RAS, reticular activating system, fibers start firing signals and we wake up. ठीक है? So sunrise and sunset has to do something with our sleep and wake cycle. Now just imagine if the sun doesn't rise for 3 months. What will happen? The melatonin will be there without breaking down. So the person will become disinterested, sleepy, not willing to wake up, not willing to move their bodies. So the entire country will go to depression. If you push the doorbell, they will not open the door. If you make a phone call, they will not pick up the phone call. This is called SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and this will happen in the winters when there is continuous darkness. Therefore, people of this country have used modern lighting technique in their homes. So the lights are designed, just to shine and set like sun. So they are regulated or connected with what? With the clock. So during the normal sunrise time, these lights will begin to increase in intensity, जैसे कि सूर्य उदय हो रहा है. And then by the evening, they will start dimming themselves. So white light therapy has been found to be effective treatment for seasonal affective disorder. Okay, so you can write, in countries north of Arctic Circle, I am not talking about Antarctic Circle because there are no countries south of Antarctic Circle. ठीक है? So in countries north of Arctic Circle, like Finland, Norway, Sweden, etc., there is continuous darkness during winters. There is continuous darkness during winters, as a result of which circadian rhythms get disrupted. As a result of which circadian rhythms get disrupted, the melatonin released by the brain during dusk, dusk means evening. The melatonin released by the brain during dusk is not broken down by sunlight. The melatonin released during dusk is not broken down by the sunlight. And hence, light therapy using LED lights are used, and hence light therapy using LED lights are used to regulate the melatonin cycles. To regulate the melatonin cycles. Melatonin, ठीक है? Now, psychoanalytical cause. Psychoanalytical cause. According to Sigmund Freud, the aggression or the anger towards the parents and caregivers, the anger towards the parents and caregivers is socially forbidden. Anger towards the parents and caregivers is socially forbidden and hence is repressed to unconscious. And hence gets repressed to unconscious. So the child cannot show his anger to parents. So he represses the anger from conscious to unconscious. As a consequence, thanatos keep accumulating in the unconscious. Thanatos is aggression. Thanatos keeps accumulating in the unconscious. During adulthood, when similar experiences reoccur in one's life, during adulthood, when similar experiences reoccur in one's life, when similar experiences reoccur in one's life, the thanatos gets reactivated. The thanatos gets reactivated. Okay? And it is released inwardly upon oneself. And it is released inwardly upon oneself. An individual indulges in self-harming activities. And the individual engages in self-harming activities like refuse eating, drug addiction, committing suicide, refuse eating, drug addiction, committing suicide, and self-critical thoughts. Okay? Refuse eating, drug addiction, committing suicide, and self-critical thoughts. So, people who suppress their anger and don't express it, they are harming themselves because ultimately it will lead to dissatisfaction with one's own life. Okay? And you will start harming yourself in one or the other way. Okay? तो अगर गुस्सा बाहर नहीं निकला तो गुस्सा अंदर अपने आप की तरफ निकलेगा. That will cause depression.
Yeah.
Please mute your mics. Okay. Now behavioral cause. Behavioral cause. According to behaviorist, depression occurs when person receives lesser reinforcement for their behaviors. Depression occurs when a person receives lesser reinforcement for their actions. So if you are not praised for your behaviors, if you're not rewarded for your actions, you will feel sad. So when life is perceived with more punishment and lesser rewards, the individual plunges into a state of sadness. When life is perceived as when life is perceived with more punishment and lesser rewards, the individual may plunge into a state of sadness. अभी ध्यान से सुनिए, वो दुखी क्यों हो रहा है? क्योंकि उसको रिवार्ड नहीं मिल रहा है, उसको पनिशमेंट ज्यादा मिल रहा है, उसको किसी का ध्यान नहीं मिल रहा है. ठीक है? So he enters into state of sadness. Now, the sad individual begins to get attention, warmth, and care of friends and family. Now, the sad individual begins to receive the attention, care, warmth of friends and family. अब इस दुखी आदमी को लोगों का सांत्वना, प्रेम, केयर, अटेंशन मिलना शुरू हो जाता है, बिकॉज ये दुखी है. The patient begins to enjoy this attention. Now the sad individual begins to enjoy this attention and continues to stay sad. Now the patient begins to enjoy the attention and continues to stay sad. ठीक है? अब इसको मजा आने लगता है, क्योंकि अब तक तो कोई ध्यान नहीं दे रहा था, अब मुझ पे ध्यान दे रहे हैं लोग. ठीक है? Eventually the friends and family get fed up and abandon the patient. अब कितने दिन तक एक रोतलू के साथ आप लगे रहेंगे? ठीक है, कुछ भी कर लो, ये हमेशा रो रहा है. तो eventually the friends and family get fed up and abandon the patient. This gives the patient a valid reason to plunge into deeper level of depression. This gives the patient a valid reason to plunge into a deeper level of depression. Moral of the story is, जो दुखी आत्मा है उसको कभी रुमाल मत पकड़ाओ. आज रुमाल दे रहे हो, कल तौलिया मांगेगा. ठीक है? उसको मजा आने लगेगा. ठीक है? इलाज कुछ नहीं है, ध्यान मत दो, अपने ठीक हो जाएगा. नहीं, मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूं, ये बिहेवियरल एक्सप्लेनेशन है. हाँ, यस. ठीक है? तो देयर आर मोर कॉजेस, we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, let me announce, tomorrow we are keeping a class between 10:30 to 1 o'clock. 10:30 इसलिए कह रहा हूं क्योंकि लास्ट सैटरडे मैंने देखा ट्रैफिक बहुत हेवी होता है. ठीक है? सो लेट्स मेक इट 10:30 to 1 o'clock. कितने बजे? जीएस क्लास है? कौन सा क्लास है? सोसाइटी कौन ले रहे हैं? संदर्भ? कोई बात नहीं, ऑप्शनल करो. 500 नंबर का है वो, सोसाइटी उतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. चलो ठीक है. ओके, यस यस नेहा.
So for abnormal psychology, are we referring to only notes or would we be given some handout?
हाँ, I will be giving you handout. There is handout. I'll tell them, they will post you. हाँ.
Okay, sir.
तो एबनॉर्मल साइकोलॉजी का हैंडआउट मिलेगा आपको, और भी हैंडआउट्स मिलेंगे. अभी जो कमिंग टॉपिक है मैं उनका अपलोड करवाता हूँ. ठीक है? ओके. हाँ, क्या मतलब एबनॉर्मल किसी को ला के दिखाना है? क्या पूछ? सिम्टोमेटिक है ना, इसमें सिम्टम्स बहुत ज्यादा है, इसमें समझाना क्या है, आप खुद ही समझ सकते हैं कि क्या सिम्टम्स हो सकता है। एबनॉर्मल साइकोलॉजी देखो, हर टॉपिक का अपना नेचर है, अपना ट्रीटमेंट है, तो हर टॉपिक एक तरीके का नहीं होगा, ठीक है। नाउ वी विल मूव टू से थेरेपी, इट विल हैव अ डिफरेंट ट्रीटमेंट, एंड देन व्हेन वी कम टू रिसर्च मेथड, इट विल हैव ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट ट्रीटमेंट, ठीक है। सो सी यू टुमारो 10:30. थैंक यू।